Hey there, science fans. Have you ever heard the word epidemic? It sounds scary, right? It means a disease is spreading faster than we expect, like a wildfire through a dry forest. That's why we investigate epidemics, to be heroes and stop them in their tracks. Think of it like a puzzle. When a disease spreads too quickly, we need to find the missing pieces. Where did it start? How is it spreading? Who's at risk? By answering these questions, we can protect people and save lives. Just like detectives, we use science and our brains to solve the mystery of an epidemic. Ready to become an epidemic investigator with me? Let's get started. Before we put on our detective hats and grab our magnifying glasses, we need to be sure we actually have an epidemic on our hands. It's not always as obvious as it seems. Sometimes, what looks like an unusual increase in cases might just be a normal fluctuation. We use something called baseline data to make this determination. Imagine it like this. Every day a certain number of people catch a cold. Some days it's a few more, some days it's a few less. That's normal. But if suddenly way more people than usual are catching that cold, our alarm bells start ringing. That sudden spike above the baseline, that's when we know something unusual is happening and it's time to investigate. Okay, so we think we might have an epidemic. What's next? We need to define exactly what we're dealing with. Imagine trying to catch a thief without knowing what they look like. Impossible, right? That's where a case definition comes in. It's like a wanted poster for a disease. It tells us exactly what symptoms to look for. For example, a case definition for the flu might include fever, cough, and muscle aches. Having a clear case definition helps us quickly identify who is sick and who isn't. This is super important for figuring out how many people are actually affected and how the disease might be spreading. Now things are getting really exciting. We're going to put on our data detective hats. This is where we gather tons of information about the cases we've identified. Think of it like searching for clues at a crime scene. We want to know when people got sick, where they were when they got sick, and who they are. This is called epidemiological analysis. We can use this information to create maps and charts to see patterns in the outbreak. For example, if we see a cluster of cases all appearing around the same school, that might tell us something important about how the disease is spreading. Data is key to cracking the case. Section 5. The why behind the outbreak. Cracking the case. We've got our case definition and we've analysed all the data. Now it's time to put on our thinking caps and figure out this epidemic is happening. This is where we use our scientific knowledge to develop hypotheses. A hypothesis is a fancy word for a possible explanation. For example, we might hypothesize that the flu is spreading through contaminated water, through the air, or through close contact with sick people. Then we test each hypothesis to see if it holds water. We might look for the germ in water samples or see if people who wear masks get sick less often. By carefully testing our hypotheses, we can pinpoint the culprit behind the outbreak. Section 6. Stop the spread, taking action. Once we understand how the disease is spreading, we can take action to stop it. This is where things get really heroic. We can implement control measures, which are actions we take to prevent the disease from spreading further. For example, if we find out the flu is spreading through contaminated water, we might issue a boil water advisory. If it's spreading through the air, we might encourage people to wear masks and avoid crowded places. Sometimes we also need to take long-term measures like improving sanitation or developing a vaccine. These steps help to protect people not only during the current epidemic, but also from future outbreaks. Section 7, spreading the word, communication is key. Remember how we talked about solving a puzzle together? Well, we can't solve the puzzle alone. We need to tell everyone what we've learned and what they can do to protect themselves. That's why communicating our findings is so important. We need to share information with the public, healthcare providers, and government officials. We need to be clear, accurate, and timely to build trust and encourage people to take action. Think about it. If people don't know how the disease is spreading, they can't take steps to protect themselves and others. Communication is a critical part of epidemic control. Section 8, staying vigilant. Prevention is the best medicine. Our work isn't done once the immediate threat of the epidemic is over. We need to keep a watchful eye on the situation to make sure the disease doesn't come back for a surprise visit. This means continuing to monitor for new cases, analysing data to track trends, and being prepared to jump into action if needed. It's like keeping our detective skills sharp, even when there's no case currently open. Remember, prevention is the best medicine. By staying vigilant and prepared, we can prevent future outbreaks and keep our communities healthy and safe. Section 9, a real-life mystery tracing a foodborne foe. Let's put our skills to the test with a real-life example. Imagine this. There's a sudden increase in people getting sick with stomach cramps, vomiting and diarrhea. After ruling out other possibilities, we suspect a foodborne outbreak. First, we create a case definition based on the symptoms. Then we interview sick people about what they ate, where they ate it, and when they got sick. We collect data, analyze it, and create maps to look for patterns. Let's say we notice that most of the sick people ate at the same picnic and all enjoyed the potato salad. We investigate the potato salad and find a nasty bacteria. We immediately contact the picnic organizers and ask them to discard any remaining potato salad. By quickly identifying the source of the outbreak and taking action, we prevent more people from getting sick. Case closed. Section 10, solving the puzzle. How investigation conquers epidemics. Wow, we've covered a lot of ground. We've learned how to investigate epidemics, from identifying them to communicating our findings and implementing control measures. It's like we've become real-life disease detectives. By using science and our critical thinking skills, we can solve the puzzle of an outbreak and protect public health. Remember, understanding the who, what, where, when and why of an epidemic is essential to stopping it in its tracks. So the next time you hear the word epidemic, don't panic. Remember the steps we've learned today and know that by working together, we can conquer even the most challenging health threats. Stay curious, stay informed, and stay healthy.